coverage on the track meet stabbing trial. The jury is deciding how many years Karmelo Anthony will spend in prison.
Jurors deliberated for about 3 hours this afternoon before finding Anthony guilty of murder for stabbing Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet in Frisco last spring. Our team has years of experience covering trials.
Yes, senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez, senior investigative reporter Tanya Iser, and Jobin Punaker are joined by legal expert Keith Harris. Bring us up to speed on what's happening in that courthouse right now.
Well, Teresa and Chris, just a little while ago, the jury did send out a note asking for dinner, so we believe that we're going to be here for a while. They've actually spent more time now deliberating on the punishment phase than they did during the guilt-innocent phase. So I'm going to bring in our expert, Keith Harris. Keith, are you surprised that it's taking a little bit longer on the punishment phase?
I'm not that surprised. I think at the end of the day, I think it was always about figuring out what is the proper punishment. The state didn't even ask for a number of years just because I think it's going to be up to these 12 people to decide that.
Can you speak to the process, how a jury sort of does the roll call when it comes to this deliberation?
You know, you hear different sides and different stories. A lot of times I've heard juries and talking with them after trials where they might just take an initial poll and just see where people are at just to start off so that they can figure out where they're negotiating or where they're talking, where people are. Maybe they're all close. Maybe you got people at two various ends. And then I think that's when then they start kind of making their arguments for why they're where they're at, and then I've seen them go from there.
Now we know that the prosecution was able to get sudden passion into this. Can you explain to people what sudden passion is and what that would mean if they decide that sudden passion was at play here?
So if they find that Karmelo Anthony acted in sudden passion, he didn't act with cool reflection. He snapped basically and did this. And so it's a mitigating factor in a murder case where it'll lower the punishment range to 2 to 20, and that's what a jury would consider in the proper punishment if they find that.
And right now, if it's murder, that's 5 to 99. And Jobin, you were inside the courtroom, so give us an idea of what it was like.
Yeah, when that verdict was read, Kayla Hayes, this is Karmelo Anthony's mom, was audibly crying. It's the only thing you could really hear inside that courtroom, and that was very noticeable. The Metcalf family also emotional, especially during some of the closing arguments from the state.
Talk about that, what Bill Wertsky told them.
Yeah, so Bill Wertsky is talking about how you should sentence Karmelo Anthony, and they said, you should know that there are already life sentences handed out in this event. Life sentences to Megan Metcalf, this is Austin's mom, Jeff Metcalf, as well as Hunter Metcalf, speaking to how much of how painful this has been for that family.
And we know that the only witness on the stand for the defense and for the punishment phase was Karmelo Anthony's mom, who asked this jury for mercy on her son to give him a lower sentence. So that is where we are. We still have a lot of protesters out here and expecting more here as the night progresses and as we wait for the verdict. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jobin, Keith, Rebecca, Tanya, thank you so much for your expert analysis and insight there. And again, like Rebecca said, we're going to monitor this for you all evening long and have the latest if we do get a sentence for you right here on WFAA and WFAA+.